We're going to be checking out some budget laptop gaming setups, so let's get right to it. So this first setup right here we have is by Sai, and it's a really clean setup because there's not really that much overkill on RGB, and it's not really a mess on the desk. He has a MSI laptop on a laptop cooler, which is very helpful since laptop coolers can cool your laptop a lot and help with the performance. And the specs for this laptop is an i5 10300H with a GTX 1650. The specs on this laptop is pretty similar to my laptop specs, so the performance might be very similar as well. He has some type of 60% keyboard right here, and he also has a SteelSeries mouse over here. I really like this mousepad since the design on this mousepad looks very similar to mine, and it just makes the setup look overall way better. He also has this mouse bungee right here, which also looks a lot like mine. So this setup just reminds me of my own setup a ton. Over here, he has some stuff like pencils, controller, RGB controls, and I really like this lamp over here. It's a really clean setup with not that much overkills like I said, but I do suggest adding a little bit of RGB since the room does look kind of dark, and it can give a room the bright vibe it needs. Also, if you're interested in joining an EU Duo tournament for $400, then head to the Discord down in my description to sign up. This next setup right here is by Azam V2, and it looks really clean. He has a MSI Katana GF66 laptop on some type of laptop stand. His keyboard right here is the DK61, and his mouse is the Ponage Ultra Custom. What I really like is his mousepad, which is by the Mousepad Company, and we both actually have the same mousepad, and the glide on this mousepad is amazing. He also has some type of Fi-Fi mic on a boom arm right in front of his face. I don't know if it's just me, but when I'm recording, I really don't put the mic too close to me since it's kind of distracting, and sometimes when I'm pressing on my keyboard, sometimes my hand touches the mic, which gets pretty annoying. Over here, he has some type of Logitech headset on a headphone stand, which looks really clean. He also has some decorations like this PlayStation stand thing and this plant. And his room also looks pretty nice. It's kind of basic, but I really like the texture of it. Maybe add a little bit of RGB on the side wall right here, like some white RGB, and your setup actually gives a pretty nice glow. This next setup right here has to be one of the best setups we have in a while. He has the 390 Hertz Disney Mickey Mouse monitor, which is actually one of the best monitors on the market right now. His mouse is the best mouse on the market as well, with a 0 millisecond response time, and his keyboard also has 0 milliseconds response time. So this next setup we got right here is by Airrush. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly, but he has a Lenovo ThinkPad. If you guys don't know, these ThinkPads are literally like the ThinkPads I have at school, and they're like really bad. Over here, he has the Razer mouse. I think that's the Death Adder Elite. And over here, he has a mouse pad that's pretty small, I'm not gonna lie. And his desk has some random stuff like a toy car. I think that's like his study books. Like overall, I just feel like you need to clean up this desk a little bit. Also over here, he has a bunch of wires, so I do suggest having a mouse bungee, which helps clears out these wires a lot. But I'm actually curious how much FPS this laptop can run. So if you're seeing this video, make sure to DM me how much FPS you get, because I'm actually very curious if this is a playable experience. There are some stuff that you should clean up, like the back right here. But overall, it's a pretty solid setup. This next setup right here actually looks pretty nice. He has a bunch of RGB and a lot of decorations, which makes the room look really nice. His laptop is some type of unknown Dell laptop with some unknown specs, and he also has the Razer Viper Mini right here. I think his mousepad is the World Map mousepad that I used to have, which is a really good budget mousepad. He also doesn't have an external keyboard since he says he's saving up for an external keyboard, which I do suggest you get since playing on a laptop's keyboard can get frustrating sometimes. He has two really clean plants over here, and he has some type of poster over here, which actually looks pretty nice. For his headphones, I think he's using some type of earbuds since over here it's connected and it looks like one of those Apple earbuds. I do suggest a mouse bungee over here since these wires look pretty messy and it really just gives your setup a pretty weird look. And obviously I suggest an external keyboard since the laptop's keyboard is horrible. But overall, the setup looks really nice, and I really like the organization from this setup. I don't even know what to say about the setup, man. This man is literally beefing with the Avengers out here. This next setup is by Shavs, and he says his laptop is only $100. His laptop has an i7 7700HQ and also has a 1050 Ti. He also has a monitor connected to this laptop, which is a 75 Hz monitor. His keyboard is the Phantom 87, and it is a TKL keyboard, and his mouse is the Razer Viper Mini. He has a random mouse pad and also a random desk that actually looks like it's aging out here. So what I suggest you upgrading is definitely your laptop, since he says he's been using the laptop for around 4 years. A 1050 Ti is kind of outdated, but if it runs your games pretty well, you don't need to upgrade it. But if it's like falling apart and stuff, you definitely should upgrade your laptop. And I do suggest upgrading your desk or your mouse pad, since you do need a bigger mouse pad. I don't really know how much mouse space you have, but overall this is a pretty clean setup.